And it's very nice to meet all of you. We've got a new...
Okay, so here we go. This is the first of 3 lessons I took with Lingoda. I selected the Business English Upper Intermediate course for it was the most advanced and most expensive one, from 11 to 17 euros per 1 hour, which according to Lingoda works out to $14 to $20 an hour. Somebody is being overcharged. Anyway, the topic of today's lesson is resolving misunderstandings. It says communication, so I'm guessing there will be a lot of speaking. Lesson description.
In this lesson, you will learn how to implement tact and make use of the passive voice when dealing with misunderstandings.
Learning outcomes.
Can understand standard phrases typically used during a misunderstanding. Can use new phrases and the passive voice to deal with cultural misunderstandings.
The reason I booked this particular lesson was because it was the first one available. Our teacher is one L, who is a linguist and Cambridge CELTA ESOL certified with 14 years experience giving IELTS classes. Was never good with these acronyms. There are 5 of us in this class, plus the teacher, which from what I understand is the maximum allowed. The class starts with some self-introductions. Here Elle is trying to get people to speak so she could assess them, us, and give feedback because it's all about the illusion of correcting mistakes and giving feedback.
I'm currently, I have been working as a teaching assistant for the last 4 years. And for the last 7 months, I am additionally working in one IT company as a trainee manager. And I'm on the 2nd year of my PhD studies.
On the 2nd year. Lovely. What a lovely introduction, Andrea. That was very, very standard B2 upper intermediate, and you have lovely long...
Bit of a pat on the back, which is to be expected. But if I were Elle, I would have said, "What the heck are you doing here? Wasting your time and money." But that's just me.
I have a certificate in Advanced English from British Council, C1.
There you go.
But I haven't used it since high school. Maybe I'm using it, but not every day. So I wanted to just to revise everything and to recall all the vocabulary and things that I should in order to use it every day.
Pay as much as $20 an hour to revise words, coming from a PhD candidate. Moving on. Okay, for the sake of brevity, gonna focus on the students, so you could get an idea who pays for this nonsense and why.
What is the biggest challenge you have language-wise?
Well, maybe vocabulary. When I'm trying to recall some word, I usually can recall some basic word, but when I want to use some more advanced form or something like that, sometimes I need more time because I wasn't using it for a longer period of time. So
nice to meet you too. And I'm originally from China, and now I'm studying in Denmark. So the calling from Denmark, I like Denmark so much, because the happiness in Denmark. In 2019, I saw an index called Happiness Index, and Denmark is quite high in the list. So I plan to apply for some universities in Denmark to want to experience it.
Is it true what they say? Do you see that happiness around you? Is it true?
I think so. The work-life balance and the hierarchy is flat here. Hierarchies. The gender equality.
And what culturally are you learning new things about the Danes as well? The Danes are people from Denmark.
Dane. Teaching a new word here.
You're quite articulate as well, so I can see you're a standard upper intermediate learner.
Another praise here. More or less the same as the previous one.
Which out of the 4 skills are the most challenging for you to master?
For example, when I talk with my classmates, if they have quite a strong accent, sometimes I can't understand very well. I'm frustrated about this.
So listening could be one of the skills.
So he's here to practice his listening, paying $20 an hour. Good.
Lovely to meet you, Jan. We'll be asking you further on. Thanks a lot. And we've got Vladimir, who we've met, I believe, on several occasions, haven't we?
First time.
Oh, you're not the same Vladimir, because I have a Vladimir who always keeps his screen off, and I thought maybe today you put your camera on.
It's actually my
You're not the
first
same.
time here, so
Welcome.
I struggled with the camera. That's why it was off at the beginning.
That's great. It's nice to see the face, to put a face to the name, Vladimir. And what are you here to achieve? What is your primary motivation for learning English?
I'm in a process of what follows is, not my proudest hour, not the best 3 minutes of my life. What was I supposed to say? I'm here to confirm the fact that Lingoda lessons are a waste of time and money because language is a tool for acquiring knowledge. Language equals knowledge. Language doesn't exist without knowledge, and vocabulary and grammar are not knowledge. But that's all we are going to focus on. Language teachers, like UL, are supposed to help their students become independent learners, and that's not something you are going to teach us today, are you? I couldn't say all that, so I said something else.
Oh, lovely. Excellent. And how confident do you feel with your speaking, reading, listening, and writing in English? Those are the 4 skills in English. Which one is the most comfortable for you right now? And which one the most challenging for you to master?
Couldn't help but be a teacher. In my experience, they are kind of all related. So I found that if I'm able to read well and write well, I'm also able to speak well. So I can't really tell which one is kind of better than the rest.
The other. You'll find out more as you start your lessons, and as you progress, your teachers after the lesson will leave you information on your progress in the class log after each lesson.
And here's the feedback itself.
Vladimir speaks at length without noticeable effort or loss of coherence. He may demonstrate language-related hesitation at times, or some repetition, or some repetition, or some repetition.
My tendency to repeat is something I talk about in my book, Virtually Native. Anyway, you can read the rest of it yourself. It's all formulaic language. I've done hundreds of assessments myself, and it's all the same nonsense, using the sandwich method. Start with some positives, follow up with some mild negatives, and finish off with more positive and encouraging comments. And the reason she says B2 here is because it's the level I chose for myself. It's the highest level course Lingoda offers. It's also worth mentioning how awkward the whole experience was for me. I've always been the teacher, and now the student, pretending to be a student in this fake environment. Anyway, moving on. 2 minutes of meaningless explanations by our lovely teacher. We are 12 minutes in and the lesson hasn't started yet.
Passive voice. Do we remember how to use the passive, ladies and gents? A lot of my students studied it when they were 12 years old. But do we still remember how to use the passive and why do we use the passive? Lynn,
and we are talking about
can
grammar.
you tell us why we use the passive voice in English? Thank you. Do we remember from other Lingoda lessons? Any idea? Oh, your microphone is muted, by the way, Lynn. Oh, cheers.
Oh,
there you go. Lovely. Oh, any idea why we use the passive? When?
happens in the past.
It happens in the past, so we cannot use the passive in the present or the future? Maybe. We forgot. Don't worry. Maybe Alexandra will be able to help with that. Alexandra, do you remember why we use the passive voice in English?
We just need to change the focus on the object. For example, I eat a carrot and carrot was eaten. For example, it doesn't matter who ate this carrot. The carrot is the first thing on our
mind.
On our mind. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And another 2 minutes wasted on explaining grammar rules.
Can anybody explain what you believe to be a cultural misunderstanding? This is a question for all the class. Cultural misunderstanding. Jan, you're perfect to answer this question because you live in Denmark.
I think, yeah, culture. For example, I went to Denmark. I can meet some culture shock. So it's quite different from the maybe China. So I can't understand it. It's a kind of a cultural misunderstanding. Yeah, it's a difference from my original culture. Yeah.
Yes, culture shock can lead.
It's time to fix some mistakes. Oh, and I almost forgot to put everybody at ease that I'm not Russian.
And if I were to visit Japan, or maybe Vladimir, you live in Japan.
Yes. I forgot to say, yes, I live in Japan and I'm Bulgarian, by the way.
Oh, Bulgarian, thank you.
Bulgarian.
How does a Bulgarian get by
Bulgarian.
or feel in Japan?
They say that when you first come to Japan, you could write a book, and then after a month, maybe an essay, and after a few years, basically nothing. So at the beginning, everything was shocking, but now everything is completely normal.
Fantastic analogy. That is so true. Yeah. And now, what stage are you at in Japan, Vladimir?
I try to keep my speaking time to a minimum without looking suspicious. I'm here to observe.
Anyway, let's have a look. I would like Andrea to introduce today's presentation by reading all of this page for us, please. Thank you. This is your presentation, Andrea.
Okay, good morning. I have a meeting with Mr. Johnson at 9 a.m. Excuse me, but Mr. Johnson is busy the whole day. Are you sure that that is the right time? Wait, what day is today? Today is Tuesday, isn't it? I'm afraid there has been a misunderstanding. Today is Wednesday.
Lovely. But what went wrong here, people? What's the problem here? Something went wrong, didn't it? Can anybody explain what went wrong?
We have different time zones.
Okay. So does everybody agree that the difference in time zone here was the difference in this communication? Yeah.
But it's related to...
Yes, Alexandra.
Oh, okay.
Andrea?
I think someone just lost in his or her calendar, some like the person was too busy and just lost the time, sometimes
say to lose the time, because lose time is not an English expression. So you can, for example, you can waste time. A lot of my students confuse losing time with wasting time, for instance.
Okay.
But this is not what you meant, wasting time. No.
Yeah, it is not wasting time. It is like you lost in your calendar, it just...
Okay, so in other words, how can we say this? I know what you want to say, but we're not using the right word, perhaps. Andrea, any idea what translate?
I'm not sure what should we use, but maybe some proposal would be to use a calendar, some online calendar, in order to have the same meeting for both sides, so everyone knows the exact day and time of the meeting. So we are, for example, using Google Calendar for all meetings, so there cannot be this kind of misunderstanding.
What kind of misunderstanding was there? Because Alexandra is right, something went wrong in the calendar. But what exactly went wrong? Here is the answer. Someone's calendar and Vladimir, do you know this verb? Can you guess what this verb is? It starts with M. And it ends in ed, because this is an adjective over here, actually. My calendar, my app, we can use it with Google calendars. Now, here I would imagine that this person is using a calendar but the calendar didn't work for some reason. But why didn't it work? And if it was an app or an electronic or Google Calendar, which syncs all your appointments with your other online appointments, then there's only one adjective we should be using. Any idea? I guess
the calendar was
Best or
Maybe
starts with M.
missynced, if that word exists.
I like that. You can
You
use
mean when
missynced.
there's a problem with the syncing between missynced? Oh.
Yeah, you can say missynced, but there's a better one that I was using, which is a problem as well. Missynced is actually good. The one Andrea used, was it Andrea who said missynced?
Yes.
Yes, I like that. We don't really use it that often, but why not? Because you can put miss in front of a lot of adjectives as a prefix. But there's another one. And guys, try to think of it. It starts with MA, okay, and it ends in ED as an adjective. And it could be used as a verb. This could be a past simple verb too. You can use miss as a prefix and as another prefix to say something went wrong. You could also use the word MAL. Now, this should be easier for you, my pre.
Maybe malformed.
Malfunctioned.
Oh, you're very, 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 very close. Yeah.
We wasted good 5 minutes on the word malfunction. I honestly couldn't figure out what word our lovely teacher was making us say because 1, I wasn't paying attention, and 2, I'd never heard of malfunctioning calendars.
Lynn, do you sometimes have misunderstandings at work?
Maybe sometimes when our boss gave us sign us some assignments, and we didn't get exactly what he wants. We sometimes do not have very frequent discussion, and
That's a problem.
and when it meets the deadline, and we both found out that we misunderstood each other.
Lynn, what do you think needs to be changed?
Maybe set some action point in a big project, and have some weekly or daily discussion with your direct line manager.
Very good.
I think we all zoned out here. Paying to listen to others crap English. What a rational thing to do. At least she got to practice her speaking. Time well spent.
Same. Great things.
And lots of note-taking.
Think about how you feel, ladies and gents, when there is a misunderstanding in business situations. I would like everybody to think of how you all would answer this question, and we're going to write our answers in my Padlet, which is this.
And now we write. But before that, a 2-minute explanation about how to do it. The problem was that I forgot what the question was. Could you just tell us
So
what
we
the
can
question
see
was
adjectives.
once again, please?
Of course, the question is this. Lynn, to read Jan's post, please. Thank you.
I will be a little nervous as this may affect teamwork as well as business effectiveness, but I think I will follow clarification from the responsible person to avoid this situation.
Ooh, Jan, did you perhaps forget a word? Is there a word you would like to add or insert here?
What? And maybe.
But I think I will further clarification.
I think I will.
Grammar.
I should add a verb, I think.
Yes.
Not a bad idea indeed. The whole writing, reading, and then correcting took 15 solid minutes.
Can anyone explain a faux pas? We use this French word in English a lot. Can anyone explain the meaning of a faux pas? Thank
I'm
you.
patiently waiting for my peers to answer. Waiting.
What is a faux pas?
And it's time to move
This
on.
is a question to everybody.
A
Can anybody
blunder.
explain? Have you ever used the word blunder before, Lynn?
No,
Do you know what it means, though?
no, didn't heard the word before.
Let's have a look. I would like Lynn to read the Macmillan definition of blunder. Thank you.
A careless or embarrassing mistake.
Macmillan Dictionary, very nice
Let's have a
indeed.
look at how we can
Not the best
use
one
it in
out there,
context.
but
Thank
still
you, Lynn.
good enough.
Officials were accused of making a huge administrative blunder.
Very nice. So a blunder, is it a noun? Is it an adjective?
I should have said
Or is it a
mistake
verb, ladies and
instead
gents?
of blunder.
Blunder.
Now we've spent 3 solid minutes on the word blunder.
In this sentence,
And we haven't even
Blunder
looked at faux pas.
is a...
It's a noun, maybe.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Guys, that's right. By looking at it, we see a blunder, a huge blunder, an administrative blunder. So this is a professional blunder. It's a noun and it's countable. So you might have many blunders, or you might have come across blunders. A faux pas is another word. Please use it from today onwards. Use it in your next Lingoda lessons as well. But Jan, could you ask Alexandra this question? Thank you. Cheers. Interview time.
Yeah. I asked who?
You ask Alexandra. Thank you.
Me.
Yeah, okay. Alexandra, have you ever committed a cultural faux pas
Faux pas.
Somebody's not paying attention.
faux pas in another country? What happened?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I wish I had, because I think it is really great
Experience.
experience. Yeah, and it is the way how we learn something new. But I really, I don't think that it is really about business. But I know that, for example, in Japan,
Can we talk
it
about
is
Japan
not
again?
a good thing to give someone tips. Vladimir,
Okay.
am I right?
Vladimir maybe counts.
Yes, it's not
you
accepted.
serious?
Yes. I guess they see me being bored and want to pull me in. But instead of Japan, our lovely teacher tells us about the tipping culture in Sicily.
Below are certain phrases you can use when you realize that you've been misunderstood.
And then she's telling us, teaching us a few more phrases and idioms.
You can solve a
Another 3
misunderstanding,
minutes gone.
or you can clear
like
it
that.
up if you want to be more conversational. Let's have a look. I'd like Andrea to read 1 and 2 and 3. Basically, read them all.
Okay. I think there maybe have been a misunderstanding. We might have misunderstood each other. I'm sorry, I didn't explain that very well before. What I meant was, that's not exactly what I was trying to say. And perhaps I wasn't clear before. What I wanted to say was...
Lovely. A lot of my students tell me they hardly use idioms, but at B2 and C1, we start to use them slowly. These phrases can add light-hearted notes to a situation. Lynn, what does light-hearted mean?
And another 2 minutes on the word light-hearted.
I don't know.
Do you think it's positive or negative? These phrases can add a light-hearted note to a situation.
Positive.
I agree. Let's have a look, by the way. We love these words, don't we? Time you come across a word you don't know, we read it out. I'd like Jan to read out light-hearted.
Funny and
Okay.
Okay, Jan.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Funny and not intended to be serious. A light-hearted look at the week's events.
It's great that she's using monolingual dictionaries, but she should have spent at least 10 minutes explaining the features of some of the most popular ones, like Longman, Cambridge, and even Macmillan. A good monolingual definition, but not the best example sentence. Let's see what Longman has in store. Not intended to be serious. A light-hearted comedy with audio.
A light-hearted comedy. I found her in a light-hearted mood.
Synonym, funny. And some more examples down below. The film takes a light-hearted look at life in prison. Much better than Macmillan, but hey, what do I know? I'm not a linguist, nor do I have a CELTA.
Cheers. I would like Vladimir,
It's
please,
my
to
turn
read these
again.
idioms.
Good classroom management skills.
I'm
by
not sure
our
we're on
lovely
the same
teacher.
page. I don't think you fully caught up my drift. We seem to have got our wires crossed somewhere.
Lovely. Vladimir, have you ever used any of these three before?
The first one.
Come to think of it, I should have asked her the
Catch my
exact same
drift, catch
question.
my drift.
How often do you use those idioms, and especially the last one with the wires?
Never the last one.
You see? Exactly. So listen and repeat, everybody.
And then we have listen and repeat, a phrase none of us will ever use. Never.
We
ever.
seem to have got our wires crossed somewhere. Go, everybody, and repeat at home.
Wires, it is some kind of weapon, or what is it?
What is a weapon? Oh, lovely.
Wires. It is a weapon,
Lovely.
or
Is it a verb?
It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's Superman.
Idioms have nothing to do with reality. Welcome to the wonderful world of getting confused with idiomatic phrases. So if you like idioms, start to notice how often English speakers use them, right? There are even books that can help you to understand idioms. For example, Idioms in Use.
Did you hear that? Somebody's going to waste a ton of time reading a whole book full of idioms.
There is the difference between what we call figurative speech and what's the opposite of figurative speech, people?
And figurative speech.
Mhm.
No.
That's a good one. Always
Yeah.
put none in front of it.
Yeah.
Or try one with L.
It's,
I'm waiting again,
I didn't mean that. I was joking.
waiting.
I didn't mean that.
It's time to move on.
Literally.
it's literally.
Think about it. Every country has their own idioms. When you catch a drift,
We are still talking about those 3 bloody idioms. And then some
So-
more.
here are some other expressions that you can use to make other people feel at ease. To feel at ease means to feel comfortable. Choose your favorite ones, and for homework,
And our lovely teacher Elle is wrapping up. Okay, let me make something perfectly clear, just so we are on the same page. You see what I did there? I don't want to appear overcritical of teacher Elle. She did her best with what she had. I actually gave her a 5-star review. It's not easy to babysit 5 adults for a whole hour. I can never do it. I still think that the onus is on the teacher to tell the student how to learn, but
have a lovely day, everybody, and we'll see you some other time soon, as sometimes we see lots of you, or maybe not, because Lingoda is a weird place. But we'll see each other soon, hopefully. Have a lovely day. Enjoy your Sunday, everyone. Good
Bye,
day.
everyone.
Take care.
Thanks for the
Thank
class.
you. You
Bye.
too. Yeah.
Thank you very much. You're welcome. Take
Yeah.
care, everyone.
what can I say? Got a few words and a few phrases and some idioms and a bit of grammar. Talked for about, 5 minutes. Or I should say, practice my speaking for about 5 minutes. Practice my business speaking. The whole thing is so absurd. What a waste of 1 hour. I don't know, it would be funny if it wasn't sad. Anyway, everything you need to know about how to learn a foreign language you can find in my book, Virtually Native, which is available on Amazon and virtuallynative.com.
You have one life. Don't waste it.